Alright, welcome again in another tutorial of the topic differentiation. In this tutorial we shall see the differentiations of implicit functions. Mpaka sasa tumesolve mara nyingi sana explicit function. Explicit function ni zile ambazo the dependent variable is expressed in terms of the independent variable kama hivi. Let's say labda y equals to x squared minus 2x lambda. The dependent variable y is expressed in terms of the independent variable explicitly. This is an explicit function. Okay? Hii inaitwa explicit function. Yaani ukiangalia tu equation unajua dependent variable ni hile, afu independent variable ni hile. Lakini zinaweza zikaja equation ambazo kama labda hivi x squared plus y squared is equal to 2x. Ukiangalia equation hii sio rahisi kusema dependent variable ni nini. Okay? Au hata x squared plus y sasa na 2x hata hivi. Ukipewa equation ya namna hii sio rahisi kusema dependent variable ni nini. Okay, sasa ndo tunazita implicit functions. Okay? Yeah. Sasa it's not like tokea tumeanza kutengeneza this tutorial sio kwamba sijafanya derivative of implicit function. Nafikiri nimefanya somewhere hapo kwenye kuderive. Lakini kwa mara ya kwanza sasa tunaangalia hii concept ya differentiation of implicit function yenyewe kama yenyewe. So labda consider this function implicit function. Okay, tunaenda kuderive implicit function. Consider this function x squared plus y squared is just equal to 2x, and then someone tells you find dy dx. Okay, so kwangu mimi ninavyofanya for implicit function like this, hii ina differentiate with respect to x, najua ni 2x. Okay, then kwa sababu nime differentiate with respect to x, hapa huwa naweka dx. Ndivyo ninavyofanyaga mimi, and I recommend this way to you, it's also good. Hii na differentiate with respect to y. Kila mtu na differentiate with respect to herufi yake. Kwa hiyo hapa kuna y, kwa hiyo na differentiate with respect to y. Itakuwa ni 2y, kwa sababu na differentiate with respect to y, naweka dy. And then na 2, okay? 2 si constant, haina issue naweka nje. Okay? So x na differentiate with respect to x, maana yake itakuwa ni 1 times dx. Yani dx na x could differentiate with respect to x, napata 1, naongeza na hiyo dx. So this just becomes 2x dx plus 2y dy is just equal to 2 dx. But I'm looking for dy dx. So e dx, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make dy dx the subject. This is going to be 2 dx minus 2x dx. So this is just going to be 2y dy is equal to 2 minus 2x. This is just dx. So now divide by dx here and by dx here. I'm just going to get that 2y dy dx is just equal to this dx and dx, they go. So I just remain is 2 minus 2x. Factoring 2 out is just like this. So I still have my 2y here. So I'm going to divide by 2y here, by 2y here. So my dy dx now, because 2 now and 2 goes, it's just going to be equal to 1 minus x over y. So you see how I have obtained dy dx, the derivative of y with respect to x, for an implicit function. Okay? And hapa chini nimeweka y. Ningetaka ningeweza kuweka zote ziwe x, just make y the subject here and then weka hapo. Okay? Lakini because it's an implicit function, nimeacha tu hivyo hivyo. So I could have done kizamani, okay? Kizamani ningepewa, kwa mtu ambaye hajasoma differentiation of implicit function, angepewa hii function x squared plus y squared is equal to 2x, afa kaambiwa find dy dx, angefanyaje? Maka ange make y the subject, ingekuwa ni y squared is equal to 2x minus x squared. Manake y ingekuja kwanza sana 2x minus x squared. And then angesemaje? Then angefanya chain rule. Angesema let u is equal to 2x minus x squared. So it means y is just equal to the square root of u. So his dy dx now from chain rule ingekuwa sana dy du times du dx. So from this u equals to 2x minus x squared, angepata du dx is just equal, hapa ni 2, hapa ni minus 2x. Alafu from this one y is equal to the square root of u, angepata dy du is just equal to 1 over 2 radical u, like this. So I mean his dy dx now will just be dy du, which is 1 over 2 radical u, times du dx, which is 2 minus 2x. So his dy dx now will just be equal to 1 over 2 radical u times, can put, yeah, like this one. So his dy dx now will just be equal to 1 minus x over radical u. But what is radical u is y. So it's equal to 1 over x minus y. So you can see, nikifanya kwa ile njia ya zamani ile, na nikifanya kwa kama nilivyofundisha leo kwenye hii tutorial, differentiation of implicit function, the answer is still the same. Okay, but the difference ni hile njia ya differentiation of implicit function ni rahisi zaidi kuliko hii. I didn't have to use any chain rule. I didn't have to hustle this much. You just differentiate the equation directly, you get the value. This is why we must learn differentiation of implicit function. So let's do one example ya kupasha, okay, kwa kutumia differentiation concept tuliosoma ya differentiation of implicit function. So you have this, I call it now, let me just call it exercise, whatever. Exercise, okay? So this exercise, it just says find dy dx. Find dy dx when y is given by we have y squared plus x squared is just equal to 4x plus 1. Okay, so this is an implicit function. Okay, yani hajaniambia y equals to kitu, ameniwekea tu hivi implicit function. So I'm going to solve by the concept of differentiation of implicit function. So this is my function. So as usual, mimi ninavyofanya nitaifanya tena. Y na differentiate with respect to y, so ni 2y dy. Okay, naika dy. X na differentiate with respect to x ni 2x, then naika dx. Again, here itakuwa ni 4 dx, okay? And then hii ni constant, is just 0, okay? So this just becomes 2y. I'm going to put y on dy on this side. This is just going to be 4 dx minus 2x dx. So I mean this is just 2y dy is just going to be equal to 4 minus 2x dx. So I just divide with dx here because I'm looking for dy dx and dx. You can see dy dx there. So I mean my dy dx. So then my 2y now dy dx is just going to be equal to 4 minus 2x. So I mean my 2y now dy dx just going to be equal to, upande wako nikifactor out 2 just means 2 minus x. So now I divide by 2y here, by 2y here. So my dy dx is just equal to 2 minus x over y. There. So even though now differentiates an implicit differentiation of implicit function, now fine. Now let's see another exercise. Let me just call this exercise 2. It says call this exercise 2. So exercise 2, it says find dy dx, okay, when y is given by 4y squared plus xy minus 3x squared equals to 0. Again, hapa you can see kwanza y imetokea mara mbili, so it's definitely an implicit function. It's not, yani sio y equals to, okay? I have to make y the subject to turn it into explicit function, but I don't need to because I can differentiate implicit function. Kwa hiyo ni 4y squared plus xy minus 3x squared is equal to 0, okay? So na differentiate hii. So hii 4 ni nje, na differentiate y squared with respect to y, napata 2y, then ongeza dy. Now here, hii 4 ni constant, no maana inakaa nje tu haina shida. Lakini hizi zote mbili ni variable, so I must use the product rule. Okay? So product rule naitumiaje hapa? First, I keep this constant and then I differentiate y. With respect to y, inakuwa ni 1 times dy manake. Plus, I keep now y constant. Okay? Then I differentiate x with respect to x. It becomes 1. Then I add times dx. And then minus 3, differentiate x squared with respect to x is just 2x dx is equal to 0. So this one was it's just a product rule, okay? Product rule. Remember for the product rule, we said for y is equal to uv. When you differentiate this uv, it's just gonna be u dv plus v du, okay? Tukua tunaweka dx hapa. Sawa, lakini you get the point. So this is just u, I differentiated y, okay? Then v, I've differentiated x. So it's just a product rule. So in case of a product hivyo ndo inakuwa hivyo. So this one now becomes 8y dy plus, so we have x dy plus y dx minus 6x dx is equal to 0. So dy inaziweka upande mmoja inakuwa ni 8y dy plus x dy, and then dx naziweka upande mmoja inakuwa ni 6x dx minus y dx. So natoa nje dy, natoa nje na dx. Kwa upande huku itabaki 8y plus x dy, upande huku itakuwa ni 6x minus y dx. So it just becomes 8y plus x dy is equal to, sorry, it's not dx, it's dy. Dy is equal to, upande huku inakuwa ni 6x minus y dx. So I divide now with dx here and dx here because I'm looking for dy dx. So I just remain with 8y plus x. This now becomes dy dx is equal to 6x minus y. So now I divide with 8y plus x here and 8y plus x here. So it goes away. So dy dx now becomes 6x minus y over 8y plus x. Kwa hiyo ndo tunavyo differentiate implicit function. The rest I think you just need to revise and solve many questions and you get it. You can also ask questions you encounter in the comment section below. See you in the next tutorial.